In 2015, the Harvard Business Review had an incredibly interesting article called Get the Boss to Buy In. And we're going to look at it from more of a finance view, thinking about getting the boss to buy. Um, it really is a relevant issue, thinking about how to sell things to your boss, really at any point in time, whether that's selling them to buy something for you, thinking about it financially, or getting them to buy any idea or concept that you're selling to them. But today we are going to think about it more in financial terms. The authors of this study, Ashford and Dietert, talked about how middle managers really need to identify areas for change and necessary adjustments in order for an organization to prosper. Because these middle managers are the people who have more direct access to the ground and see what's going on and really what the customers need, what the field needs, and really can identify these changes. So, what the authors of the study in the article did was they looked at what the most successful people did when they were pitching these ideas to their bosses and came up with some specific tactics that really made the biggest difference when they were selling these ideas to their bosses. So, when you're getting your boss to buy in or getting your boss to buy, you need to think about these 7 key tactics that the authors have come up as being making you the most successful. First, you need to tailor your pitch. So familiarize yourself with your leader's goals, values, and knowledge. And think about how is your idea, how is what you want to get done going to help them meet their goal. Think about your audience. What do they want and how are you going to help them get to that goal? Second, you're going to frame your issue. Think about how does your idea or your want fit into the big picture? What's the business benefit? How does your idea meet the mission of your program or even meet your program's current goal? Does it get more kids in the door? Does it get you to your next QRIS level? Does it bring in more money, more fundraising? Does it bring in a new donor? Keep in mind, we'll frame the issue into that big idea. Also, the third tactic is managing emotions on both sides. Think ahead of time, what is your supervisor's emotional response going to be? Is it going to be good, excited, or are they going to be a little hesitant at first? Think about it ahead of time. Be aware so in that moment you can manage it and be prepared. Fourth, you're going to get the timing right. This means the right time of day, first of all. If you know that they're always a little grumpy at the end of the day, don't try to squeeze in there at that time. Also, think about is there a good time to get in on a trend? If you know that STEM is a big thing right now and you really want some money to build up the STEM in your program, maybe that's the time to mention it. Catch the wave, catch the trend. Fifth, you need to involve others. So think about, are there any colleagues who give you more credibility or can provide more information? So if you have somebody in your program who has great connections with your supervisor or maybe has a lot of information, we'll go with STEM, and your supervisor really trusts them on that opinion, bring them on board, ask them for their support. The sixth tactic is to adhere to norms. Know what kind of information your supervisor wants to have before they make decisions and have that available, have it prepared. And think about how they like to receive information. Do they like for you to say, hey, could we set up a time? I have an idea and I'd like to sit down and talk about it. Do they want to have that formal meeting? Do they want to have a report prepared? Or are they more interested in an informal time where you sit down, pitch them an idea for 2 minutes and they say, let me think about it, and then they have the formal time later. So adhere to norms or what's most comfortable for them. And then the seventh tactic is you should always suggest a solution. You shouldn't come in with a problem and say, you know what, I need money, this is a problem. But come in with a solution. We'll run with that STEM example again. You know, I really want to build up my STEM program. I'm looking for some more money and I'm really excited because I just heard the ASOS grants coming out and I think this would be a great solution for us. So come in with a solution or with an idea because nobody likes people coming in with problems all the time. But somebody who comes with a solution is somebody who is looking to start something, is somebody who is a problem solver, not somebody who's coming in with negatives all the time. So these 7 key tactics are a great way to sell any issue at all. But when we're thinking about finances, they're also a great way to get your boss to buy and not just buy in to your solution all the time. In the course room, we have a handout that is taken from the article from the Harvard Business Review with some questions that will help you use the 7 tactics effectively. So we're going to go through an example about something that you might try to sell your boss on and using these questions to kind of frame it. So you've done your SACRs and you're worried about getting to level 2 because let's be honest, there are a lot of goods in SACRs, and I will say that there are a lot of ways you can get around SACRs without spending money. There is a lot of ways you can get a high score without having all of those blocks and all of those art materials and all of those shelves and everything like that. But we can get into that another day. You want those materials, right? You are saying to your boss, I want some money because I want to do well on SACRs and I want these materials for my kids. I want more shelves for my interest centers. I really want defined interest centers, and that's what I've decided I want to do. So you've decided you're going to go to your supervisor. You're going to ask for this money because you want to move up to level 2 and you want to have a good score in your SACRs environmental rating scale. So you're going to tailor your pitch. So you're going to think about, where does my audience stand in this issue? And you know that your supervisor has said it is incredibly important that the school-age program applies for QRIS this year and is at level 2 within the next couple months. So you know that they will find it very convincing and very compelling if you say this needs to happen because it's important for us to be in the QRIS system very soon. Great, so that's how you're going to tell your pitch. You're going to frame it in QRIS. So already moving on, right, to frame the issue. So how can you connect the issue to the organizational priorities? It's a priority that we do well in QRIS, and interest centers are a big part of this. It's the whole activity section, and so we're really thinking about that, and we're also thinking about the room arrangement. You can describe its benefits by saying, you know, this will be good for the kids, and the SACRs is a big part of how our scores are in QRIS, and really, as we define these interest centers, we'll see that score go up in all of our activities areas. We're going to manage our emotions on both sides. So we're going to think about, you know, how will he or she respond to this? So I think my supervisor will probably be a little upset because she doesn't want to spend the money on all of these shelves. But I'm going to explain to her that I've really thought it out and I've decided this is how many shelves we need, and I think we can do this cost effectively. I'm going to make sure that the timing's right. And so I'm really going to make sure that I don't bring this up on Monday because I know that she's not really a morning person on Monday. And I also know that it'll be good to bring it up during our QRIS meeting that we have on Thursdays because she always checks in, how are things going? And that's when it will be best to bring up because we'll already be talking about it and it will seem like a smooth transition. All involve others. Which allies can help me sell this issue? So I think about who in the program can really help me connect here. And I know that the preschool teacher has received the QRIS grant before, and she bought a lot of great materials. So I'll say she knows where I can get some good price shelves and that she used in her classroom. And while they were for a preschool classroom, I think the shelves would work. So I'm going to ask her to give me some recommendations and bring that up when I talk with my supervisor about it. I'm going to adhere to norms. So I know that my supervisor really likes to have formal meetings. So as I said, I'm going to bring it up in the QRIS formal meeting. And how am I going to suggest a solution? So I know that this money isn't going to just come out of thin air. So I am going to suggest that we might have to take it from other pieces of the budget. I'm going to throw out that since it is wintertime, that we probably won't need to spend as much money on some of our playground equipment that we bring outside because we're a little limited on the field since it's very snowy. And so maybe we can utilize some of that to use on shelves instead. So that's how I'm going to use the issue selling prompts. I'm going to go through, look at the questions, and kind of use them to prompt my thinking and reflect. Because as I'm thinking about this, it's important to be prepared for it. I need to go through the 7 tactics and really think through them, each piece, and think about how am I going to get my boss to buy? How am I going to show that my finances and my desire to purchase these items are really tied to the mission and what's most important? So I encourage you to really think about that. I encourage you to read the article. You get free articles at the Harvard Business Review, up to 5 a month. So the link is here at the bottom of the screen. Very interesting article that can be relevant, obviously, to any time you're trying to pitch an idea you have to a supervisor or anybody that you're just trying to get to buy into your program or something that you want to purchase.